Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to Love the Grind. My name is Michael Prevey, and my website is www.lovethegrind.com. That's where you're going to find blog posts about professional growth, spiritual fulfillment, and a balanced approach to total health and healing. That's also where you're going to find information about my coaching services and valuable tools for healing, such as ebooks and other videos that I put on that site. Now, the topic of today's video is freedom. With 4th of July coming up, what does freedom mean? That's a question that's been on my mind lately. It's a question I'll be writing about this month at Love the Grind website. And it's something that I think people often misdefine. Does freedom simply mean living in a democratic country, having the freedom to vote, having the beautiful freedom to read what we please, watch what we please, and also worship as we please? I mean, those are all important parts of freedom, but freedom is also about something much more personal, I believe. It's about the personal pursuit of our own best health and happiness. And I really think that for those of you going through the withdrawal process right now, for those of you who are trying to get away from prescription medications, you're in the process of trying to reclaim that personal freedom. That freedom to live as yourself, to live without your health being tied to prescriptions and refills and diagnoses, and to live as your own best self, pursuing your own best happiness. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my videos before, my personal withdrawal story involves SSRI Paxil and the benzo medication Xanax. Those were medications I was put on as a 21-year-old college student for social anxiety and panic attacks. And I can still remember being diagnosed with the social anxiety after filling out a little maybe 10-question survey, a little personal survey about what I was experiencing. And no doubt I was going through some turmoil that I didn't understand at that time. But what I also didn't understand is that perhaps I didn't need a diagnosis and perhaps I didn't need a medication to become a part of my life for the next 14 years. I took those medications, for almost a decade and a half until I decided to quit them around my mid-30s because I wanted to pursue freedom and happiness that didn't revolve around doctor's visits and side effects and refills and the idea that I needed these pills to be myself. So I did quit the medications. After some tapering, I quit them and I was hit by withdrawal. As many of you out there know, withdrawal is something that, like freedom, is misunderstood. A lot of doctors don't understand it. A lot of psychiatrists don't understand it. And a lot of people we share stories with might not understand it at first. So, what is freedom? Well, I think that freedom is something that we reclaim as we become less afraid to be ourselves. Now, again, I touched upon the idea of trying to live outside of the box of diagnoses and the idea that you need a medication to be healthy or to be yourself. There's also the idea of a sort of freedom that revolves around just being okay with our own thoughts and with our own emotions. And a lot of those things are confused and blunted as we're taking medications, whether they're antidepressants or benzos. And then as we quit them, as many of you know, then we become further confused. Our emotions try to resurface and our thoughts swirl around, and sometimes they're disturbing and sometimes they're confused and sometimes they just won't stop. So I urge all of you out there right now who are going through the withdrawal and experiencing such turmoil, don't be afraid of your thoughts and your emotions. That's a very good sign that these things are resurfacing. Try to work through them in a cathartic way. Work through some of those emotions and troubling thoughts through creative means, through journaling, songwriting, short story writing, blog post writing, talking to others, and so forth. Feel good that your true personality is resurfacing. It doesn't mean a troubling thought is necessarily a part of your true personality, as we all know, but what it means is you're beginning to once again have a fuller emotional and mental experience, the sort that you can eventually embrace and feel good about claiming as your own. That's what this whole process is about. Claiming your life as your own, claiming your health as your own, claiming your human experience as your own. So even though you might be going through some troubling times right now, know that in a very real sense, you're on your way to touching the sort of freedom perhaps you haven't touched in a long time. You'll no longer need a doctor to tell you who you are or what you are. and you'll no longer need a prescription bottle and the nightly ritual of putting these pills down your throat to feel that you're somehow keeping your personality and your life intact. Life is about much more than just surviving. It's about much more than just functioning. We want to thrive. We want to thrive as ourselves, and we want to have a full emotional experience, and that's what you're on your way to doing if you're working your way out of this habit. And that's really what it is, a habit of taking these prescription medications and thinking that perhaps you need them to be yourself. Now, on this 4th of July, we have a lot to celebrate, obviously. All those things I mentioned. We have tremendous freedom in this country. The freedom to pick up and move on a dime. The freedom to worship where we want. There's a church on every corner. The freedom to read what we want. There's a library on every corner. Don't forget the freedoms you have. I know as you're going through this process, you might feel confused sometimes and feel trapped. But as your system regains balance, as your life becomes healthier and happier and more calm, you're going to have tremendous opportunities in front of you, more than perhaps you've had in a while, because you're no longer tied to diagnoses and prescription refills. So really look forward to that and start planning what you're going to do with that freedom. A lot to be thankful for this 4th of July. Again, my name is Michael Prevey. Please contact me about my coaching services if you'd like to get more information about those. Please message me and I'll be happy to send you a brochure with a little more information about topics covered and rates and availability and so forth. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my mailing list at loveandgrind.com. That's how you can get my newsletter each and every month for free, and we cover a lot of topics related to personal expression, spiritual fulfillment, and personal freedom and healing. So please do those things. Also subscribe to this channel. Click the thumbs up if you like this video, and as always, please remember to take care of yourself and your dreams, and have a great 4th of July.